So first of all, I'd like to cross over to Dr. Claire Stevens, who is in Queensland. Hi, Claire.
Hi there, Kate. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. What's it like in Queensland today?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. I'd love to get outside, but I'm stuck in the office.
Okay, well, I'm down here in Melbourne. It's raining and 10 degrees or something like that, I think. So, yeah, welcome. So, Claire, let's start with just give me a little bit of an idea. In a vet clinic, in that environment, who are the human people that work there? What are their roles, and who is considered on the front line in a veterinary clinic?
Right, so veterinary practice often consists of reception staff that are doubling as nurses. So usually they are nurses themselves. In some circumstances, you have receptionists that don't do nursing. Um, they are obviously on the very front line, delivering calls of welcoming people into the practice. And then usually the next port of call is the vets themselves, and they have an opportunity to have some one-on-one time with the vet in a consult, type of environment. And if the patients are admitted into hospital, then the clients will probably come into contact with multiple veterinarians, as well as the nursing staff and perhaps the practice manager.
Okay, so I noticed you use the term client, so that's more the terminology, is it, in that environment than customer?
Yeah, so we call our animals the patients, and the pet owners are our clients.
Ah, lovely. I love that. So I know, Claire, this is kind of sad. You shared with me that in the veterinary world that the suicide rate is amongst, if not the highest, in professional industries. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Sadly, veterinarians have the highest rate of suicides of all professionals around the world. Um, and within Australia, vets are 4 times more likely than the general public to commit suicide. So this is a very real and tragic thing that we are facing in our industry at the moment.
Gosh, that's astounding. Look, I never like to hear of any suicide rates at all, but I've never ever heard that it was, within your industry. Can you give me an understanding of perhaps why that is?
I think there is a general misconception amongst the public about what it's like to be a veterinarian. Perhaps people think it's a really sweet job where we get to spend days with animals and cuddling puppies and kittens. And certainly that's a small part of our jobs, but there is a lot of stress, a lot of trauma, and distraught owners. Obviously, we are the people you come to when your animal's being hit by a car or is incredibly unwell or needs to be put to sleep.
Yeah.
And so some days in a practice, it can be trauma after trauma after trauma, and that can really wear down on the team's morale within the vet practice. But on top of that, there are some pressures within the profession in itself. Vets complain of being the lowest paid doctors
Oh, wow.
of all medical professionals. You know, they've studied for 5, sometimes 7 years, and they're on a pretty low salary compared to other professionals of that level of education. Then they've got the stress component, as well as there is a bit of a perception within the public that leads to a bit of pressure on vets. For example, if people can't afford treatment, or they were looking for a discount, they put pressure on the vet to, you know, provide that for them
Yeah.
without charge, and that can feel like a bit of emotional blackmail, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I've never thought about it from that point of view. So, me personally, as a pet owner, actually a cat adopted me, so that's how it works with cats, apparently. So I know, sadly, a couple of years ago, we lost one of our adopted cats, and the grief that came with that was pretty heightened, and our vet and the clinic team were just fantastic. Like from
Wow.
everything from just a phone call every now and again or an email, a wonderful little card. We were really treated with such beautiful kindness. It was lovely. So
Oh, that's
I'm
wonderful.
it is wonderful, yeah. So I'm very excited to hear about what you're doing with your business, Vet Global Solutions. So what is it that your team are doing to help not just the vet, because as you said, it impacts on the front line, it impacts on the nurses, it impacts on the reception staff. I bet you it impacts on the cleaning staff that come through, and they're feeling all the different feelings. Yeah. So what are Global Vet Solutions doing?
So Global Vet Solutions works with veterinary practice to build staff engagement and staff fulfillment, as well as the team's productivity. And we're very passionate about client experience. So I love when you said, you took us through then when you described your experience in that vet practice, the phone calls, the emails, how they touched base with you, I assume, while your cat was in the hospital. And it's really beautiful to hear that that clinic did that, because what we're encouraging is that we take a shift from seeing the client and the pet as an appointment, let's say, or as a medical procedure, to providing a client experience for the pet owner. And that goes from when they see our sign to the website to when they phone, when they're waiting in the waiting room, and of course that intimate consultation with the vet where they get to have that one-on-one consultation, which evokes lots of emotional experiences and memories for pet owners. And then, of course, they're admitted into the hospital, and keeping in touch with the pet owner and doing so where we're being reassuring and providing first-class veterinary care is really essential. And sometimes vets are in it because they love they love animals, but not humans.
Oh, Claire.
Pet owner, but that's where we need to draw some attention, because we're very good at working with animals.
Yeah,
but
I
there
love
is
that.
a bit of a gap there where we could work better with humans.
I love that. I mean, that's the business I'm in. I'm in the business of human to human communication. And I love that I've identified that within the vet world, that having the skills in the area of the pets or the animal behaviour and how to help calm an animal and how to help an animal have a calm and safe and healthy experience. Is it a big transfer to put that for those skills to go over to human? Have you found that there is a process you can use or a way that you can help the vet clinic and the team have great behaviour with the humans like the pets?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the way that we work with animals is so different to the way that we work with their human owners. So doing training in this area is essential, and that's what we specialise in. We look at creating high performing teams. So we do that through our 4-quadrant methodology that's unique to Global Vet Solutions. In this, we are looking at 4 main aspects of the team. We're looking at whether they have, the team is defined. Do they have defined roles and responsibilities? Is there a defined level of authority within the team? And do the individuals, are they in touch with their kind of defined purpose? Because that's also important on an individual level. You can have, wonderful people, but not quite in the right role.
Yeah.
So understanding that what defines the individuals and the teams is so important. So we look on that quadrant. Then we look at whether the team is aligned with the greater scheme of things. So the practice vision, the practice's mission. Do they have shared goals and objectives? And is there like a common, a common objective for the whole team? Because sometimes that gets lost, especially when we're just dealing with case after case, and it's more band-aid emergency type solutions rather than the big scheme and plan for the practice itself. And then the third quadrant is probably my favourite. This is working with creating collaborative teams. So a big passion of mine is communication skills. So we've got a a course on communication skills specific for veterinarians. It goes for 5 weeks and it's approved by the Australian Veterinary Association. And we're looking at running a brilliant consultation and connecting with pet owners in that. So that's a part of becoming collaborative on the team, and so is time management and leadership. And finally, we want to make self-directed teams. Now, apart from being proactive, we need to look at resilience and emotional composure for the reasons that we've touched on in this profession being quite a difficult one. And as soon as we have one person crumble in the team, it often has a flow-on effect. And so training in resilience and emotional composure and learning how to cope in these difficult scenarios and environments is so important.
It is.
To have a productive team.
Absolutely, Claire. Look, I love that you've got a nice, I would say that's an easy to follow process for veterinary clinics. You know, there's 4 segments, you take them through all of that. I know also that, I love hearing that resilience is a key role in that. I'm always talking about resilience, particularly on the front line. Often it's our frontline staff that have to be the ones that put the smile on, and maybe those that have an office or somewhere they can go and hide, they can go and do that and have their moment. But our frontline staff, particularly through grieving clients that are coming in, it's a big job. So congratulations on what you've put together. I know you've also done something else a bit special, and is it true that it launched today, your book?
Well, my books arrived in the last 2 days. Whether they're available on Booktopia today, I can see it's listed, but when you click buy, it says sold out. So I don't think they've quite listed them as of this moment.
That's cool. Yes, tell us about it. Yes. So Dr. Claire loves dogs. This must be a wonderful resource, not just for pet owners. I could see maybe in vet clinics that they should be stocking this so that it's an add-on to their service. Would that be a good way to promote this to the pet owners?
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Claire Loves Your Dog is designed. It was written for dog owners, and it's written to provide veterinary advice through the life stages of a dog's life and all of those questions that you come across from the early stages right through to having an old dog. But more than that, we use it in our consulting work as well, because it is an example of how vets can communicate with pet owners and deliver complicated and medical terminology in a way that is easy to understand and friendly and engaging. And that was the goal of my book here, was to educate owners, but do so through stories and do so through language that was easy for them to interpret.
Claire, that is fantastic. First of all, congratulations. I know from experience writing a book is quite a slog, but well worth it. I say big congratulations not only on the book, but for what you've developed with your business, Global Vet Solutions. Anybody watching wants to get in touch with Claire, how can they find you and your team?
The best way is to go to our website and go to the contact page. We're at globalvetsolutions.com.au.
Brilliant, Claire. Thank you so much for your time. And what you finished off with is a beautiful